I thought this was good. On my initial watch, I thought it was great. Then I researched the book and background. This is based off of rewatching it again, only to know some stuff I thought didn't need to be in there. However, I had no expectations for this series since I didn't know anything about it. I'll be real, I came for Chronicles of Narnia, Prince Man here, benbarnes, along with something new that I've never saw before from the trailer and became interested. Yet I ended up liking the screen time of the crows more than the main MCs, from the gunslinger I adored and homegirl with the assassin vibes to the guy with the you-know-what type of cane. Turns out he actually needs. However, before I get any further into this, let me give a 60-second recap. Alina and Mal here are besties. They've always stayed together since childhood. They do not see each other as siblings. Very important to remember. Alina tricked the system, so she didn't know she could sun summon. She learns while going to the Dark Wall with Mal that she's a sun summoner, as she protects him and saves herself. She is a saint of a sort, highly recognized for her power. The Darkling Kerrigan takes Alina with him to where other people who are able to do small science reside. Alina learns to control her powers. We see the crows trying to find her and exchange her for money. Mal tries to find her too, since she is taken. They are separated. Kerrigan is centuries old, lied about his identity, turns out to be the black heretic that made the fold, led Alina on with false impressions and kept her away from Mal, tried to manipulate her a bit. She escapes him, finding Mal. Soon after they reunite, Kerrigan finds them once again as they try to recover power from a stag that Kerrigan kills and forces a bond between him and Alina. They don't want to use and control her. Then the crows and Mal help her. They stop Kerrigan from expanding the fold. Alina regains control of her power. Kerrigan is seemingly killed, but it turns out that he's actually alive and well, and that's that. Now to the review. For me, I was somewhat surprised that Kerrigan was the heretic. Once it was revealed, it made sense, not too unexpected. His mother, on the other hand, that was quite unexpected. I would think he would have been the only one who can summon shadow, but it seems he got his capabilities from her. It makes me wonder if they will reveal any other darklings that are shadow manipulators, such as himself. The crows, oh yes, they were wonderful. I was surprised at how much I enjoyed seeing them. I never minded when it switched to them. I actually thought that the parallelism storylines with two different timestamps that eventually caught up to the same timestamp blended into one storyline was quite well choreographed. I have to give credit where credit is due. The scenery, the CGI was quite decent. Oh, loved it. Mal and Alina were cute and all, but were separate for the majority of season 1. In my eyes, their relationship didn't build on screen or show real bonding. The history between them was shown, but how their present relationship continued to thrive, it did not specify. I'm being picky with this, I know. I can't forget Missy Miss here. She was great. I didn't mind these two having their storyline being showed. This relationship building would have done nothing for me if not for this specific character. We later see in the very last episode of the season her eavesdropping on the crows but not meeting the crows. That's all. So it didn't really connect, and you didn't really know if this third storyline was in the same timestamp that we saw with Alina or the same timestamp that we saw with the crows. You didn't know if it was past, present, future. You didn't know where Nina and the Fjorden were. You didn't know how much time passed. So it seemed a bit rushed. And the very last episode that she's not really connected to them in a big way. In my opinion, everything, including the world building, was fantastic. This falls out of the fantasy genre, pure and out of fiction, mind you, if phrases like Darkling and Sun Summoner wasn't a huge hint. My beef lies in the racism added. I learned it was never even in the original storyline. There's no resolution to the racism. It's just brought up and never really resolved, addressed, or explained how one overcomes it. It just shows people experiencing it. There's a time and a place to talk about it. For me, they didn't even talk about it. That's my real problem with it. So it feels as if you're trying to capitalize on real life pain and racism. You're not bringing awareness to anything since this is a fictional world and doesn't have the actual names of actual kingdoms, nations, or races. Why are we trying to include real world racism and prejudices into this make-believe world? If this was a series that was a nonfiction or a fiction that reflected the real world, I would understand. Bringing awareness, sharing experiences, and how to deal with them. It did none of that in here. It made my attention redirect in anticipation, thinking something was going to happen, a resolution to the racial prejudices being addressed, but it wasn't. If someone can have or desire a same-sex relationship in here as seen and insinuated a few times in this, then race or appearances shouldn't be a problem in this world either. So it's like, why? It didn't need to be. Plus, the main prejudice it seems in this story is between ordinary people and the Grishas. That was the main prejudices in here. Even Fjordans, they were estranged from everybody because they didn't like how everybody was hanging with the Grishas and all that. And I could understand the beef between nations. Nothing needed to be deeper than that. Let me be clear. This isn't a bad show. That was just my main critique, my main problem. It's not a bad show. Does it have room for growth? Yes. That's for almost anything though. It has no real problems in here. The storyline is sufficiently superb in my opinion. I'm glad it showed her having growth. Originally in the beginning she was a bit dependent on Mal, then on Kerrigan for guidance. Eventually she came into herself a bit more and stopped depending on others for guidance and security, which I appreciated. I liked it. I liked the show. I liked the season. I have high expectations for Shadow and Bone season 2. So far in 2023, only one show I know has given me a season 2 I was pleased with, so I'm excited for this next season. I will review that too. Feel free to like, comment to help the algorithm and whatnot, subscribe, and or check out my Patreon. I just posted that baby up, so go check that out. That's all for today. Stay tuned.